to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5.
DX Central Live.
Signals in the static light, chasing sounds through the night, tuning into stranger waves. DX are in a late night craze. AM station calling out, in a state I've got no doubt, from a place I've never known. Time to make the air my own. Gotta stay up late, gotta catch that wave. Gotta stay up late, DX test we crave. Eyes wide open, flicker screen, dreams within the static stream. Frequency that never ends, far away will make amends. Every whisper, every tone, capturing the long night's tone. Riding on the air so thin, finding where the voices spin. Gotta stay up late, gotta catch that wave. Gotta stay up late, the excess we crave. Eyes wide open, flicker screen. Every whisper, every tone, capturing the longest drone. Riding on the air so thin, finding where the voices swim. Every whisper, every tone, capturing the long night's tone. Riding on the air so thin, finding where the voices swim.
This is DX Central Live.
In the still of the night, with the radio on, I'm chasing down signals, though the station's long gone. Through the hiss and the hum, there's a whisper I hear, a DX test calling, faint but clear. Through the hiss, through the hum, I'm chasing down the sound. Faint but magic all around. I'm a static hunter, searching late at night. Distant voices call in the DX light. Every tone in the code, it's a treasure to find. Morse taps out its rhythm, it's a test of the mind. From a station so far, across mountains and streams, it's the thrill of the hunt, the DXer's dream. Through the hiss, through the hum, I'm chasing down so faint but magical around. I'm a static hunter, searching late at night. Distant voices call in the DX light. Antenna to the sky, reaching through the haze. Each signal I capture is a moment to praise. It's the heart of the hobby, the joy of the chase. Every tone I hear puts a smile on my face. Through the hiss, through the hum, I'm chasing down the sound. Frequencies so faint but magic all around. I'm a static hunter, searching late at night. Distant voices call in the DX light. In the glow of the dial, I'll stay till dawn. Every signal a story, every test a song. The airwaves are alive with the thrill of the fight. I'm a static hunter in the DX light.
This is DX Central Live.
Hear the beep, hear the tone, Morse is on my mind. Let my headphones guide me, what signals will I find? It's a DX party, let's groove all night. Catching those signals in the dim twilight. The code breakers groove, it's a funky kind of vibe. Decoding every rhythm that the airways prescribe. From the static to the clear, it's a party we improve. DX test magic with the code breakers groove. Every tap on the key, it's a song to decode. A
man really hated ads, here's what-
on a faraway road. With the radio tuned tight, I'm dancing to the beat. Moving with the airways where the frequencies meet. The code breakers groove, it's a funky kind of vibe. Decoding every rhythm that the airways prescribe. From the static to the clear, it's a party we improve. DX test magic with the code breakers groove. Antenna pointed high to the distant sky, catching waves of magic as they drift by. Morse taps out a rhythm, a beat so true, unlocking hidden signals with a dance to pursue. The code breakers groove, it's a funky kind of vibe. Decoding every rhythm that the airways prescribe. From the static to the clear, it's a party we improve. DX test magic with the code breakers groove. So keep the dial spinning, let the groove flow on. Through the late night hours till the break of dawn. It's a funky celebration where the DXers move. Living for the rhythm of the code breakers groove.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for US and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
In the glow of the band, it's a special night. DX has start calling and the skip feels right. Beacons hum, tones collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning through the static, logging every sound. Every test transmission, rare DX we found. With radios bright, we're all locked in tight. DX Central Live, guiding us through the night. Folks in the chat, let's hear your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the thrill of the hunt, where signals arrive. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world,
this is DX Central Live.
now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
As Ray Stevens used to sing, it's me again, Margaret. We find ourselves back here in Studio A in North Shore Studios here for DX Central Live and our special presentation for the 620 WZON Bangor, Maine DX test. I'm crossing every finger I've got here tonight, guys. Finger, toes, arms. I'll cross my eyes if you want me to. Because this is going to be a big one. This is a state that for a lot of us who are not on the East Coast or kind of in the vicinity of Maine, this is one of those states that, yeah, it's on the list of most desired. So when our good friend David Pete up in Old Town, Maine, was starting to work on this after Stephen King, a lot of you may know that the very famous author, yes, the Stephen King, owns 3 radio stations up in Maine, and this 620 WZON is one of those. It's the most powerful 5 kilowatt daytime signal. And so when it was announced that those stations would be leaving the air by the end of the year, our good friend David was like, aha, and went into action and went out there and started trying to get this DX test rolling, and they were very receptive. And so here we are on a Saturday night, Sunday morning for some of you, as we prepare for this DX test. So let me give you the lay of the land of what's going to happen here tonight. We're going to start off here this hour. We're going to do some prep. We're going to get you ready for the DX test. We have a video we're going to show you. It's about a 15-minute video or so, about 14 or so. We're going to show you this video that gives you a primer on what to listen for tonight. It's going to get your ears tuned in and your eyes tuned in for what we're going to expect to see on the waterfall and be able to hear with our ears. With some of the sweeps, the tones, the Morse code, the off-hook telephone signals, all those kinds of things. These have all been provided to WZON by the Courtesy Program Committee, the dual committee headed up by members of the IRCA and the NRC. And so that those tones and sweeps and beeps and everything else have been provided to WZON to use tonight for this DX test. These are tones that cut through, man. So even if you've got a bunch of stations, like I've got a wall of stuff between me and Maine down here in Louisiana where I'm located. But even though that be the case, you'd be surprised how these sweeps and these tones and things like that can bust through. And they don't have to be the strongest signal. You know, we're not talking about a signal that's strong enough for like a voice ID. I don't care if I don't get a voice ID tonight. I'm looking for sweeps and tones and Morse code and 1 kilohertz static tones and things like that. That's what we're looking for tonight. And so we're going to play this video to give you a primer on that. And then we'll get a chance to do a little bit of a test run. Wow, this microphone. Test run on 620 kilohertz and see what we can hear. See what's coming in. And once we've done that, then we're going to turn back around and we're going to go live for the DX test itself, which starts at midnight Central Time, 1 a.m. Eastern. That's 0600 UTC. We'll cough real quick. So that'll be when the actual DX test itself starts, is about a little under an hour from now. And so once that goes, we're going to be off camera, not talking a whole lot. I'm going to be pulling up some online resources. I'll have our SDR here that we're going to have looking for the signals. And then we're going to also have a comparison SDR from up in that neck of the woods up around the Northeast to hopefully see if we can see that DX test waterfall display from up that part of the world. And you guys can use this to compare to your recordings you're doing and whatnot. And we'll have obviously our clock is up here on the screen, so you have a time stamp that you can use for when things are happening and all that. So hopefully this is enough coverage here to help as many people as possible be able to get Maine into their logbook before this very good opportunity to hear them goes away. There's not many high-powered stations up in Maine. So 5 kilowatt on a DX test is about as good of an option as a lot of us are going to get. I think there's going to be some folks that are quite surprised they're going to hear this station tonight, that they're probably thinking there's no way I can hear it, and then they're going to hear it, and it's going to be very, very interesting for them. I've heard this station before. I did a DXpedition myself out to the Outer Banks back in February. I think it was February of 2021. It was the weekend of the Super Bowl 2021. And was out there and had a W6 LVP. I was going to do some DKAZ and things like that. Had a little W6 LVP portable loop sitting on the beach there in the Outer Banks. It was cold as all get out. And that morning I caught a ID from WZON in Bangor, Maine. It was pretty cool. It was the only time I've ever heard Maine on AM radio. So definitely a little further away from them tonight than I was there in the Outer Banks. I think, the folks in the Outer Banks tonight and the whole East Coast, you guys have a really good shot at getting this one. The rest of us a little bit further inland is going to be interesting to see if we can do it. So let's go ahead real quick, and I'm going to show you guys this video and give you a chance to watch this so you can kind of get prepared to know what to expect. This is our DX101 intro to DX test video that we did. We're just doing the condensed version that just has the clips. So we'll go ahead and play that now and give you guys a chance to listen in and get your ears and your eyes tuned for what to expect tonight. So let's say the CPC has announced a new DX test that's coming up. What are some of the things that you can expect to hear or should be listening for or maybe even watching for on your SDR? Okay. Well, the most common element that you're going to see in a DX test is the Morse code ID. Now, I'm going to show you an example here from a couple of previous tests. This first one is the one I was talking about earlier. This is 880 KJJR in Whitefish, Montana. Again, they're almost near the Canadian border. This was received from Charleston, South Carolina. And not only in this clip can you hear the Morse code under the signal from WCBS, but you can actually see it as well on the SDR waterfall. The dits and das, you'll actually see those on the waterfall. And here's another example, this time from 1220 WCPH in Etowah, Tennessee. Now for some of the more unique sounds you might hear during a DX test. There's the first ones we're going to explore are what we call tone sweeps. There's a handful of different kinds of sweeps. And this first one is what's called a linear sweep. This was actually something that was provided to the CPC, as most of these tones were, by a friend of us. He's an engineer at 650 WSM, and these are actually the same tones that they use to maintain and test against their own audio chain and their transmitters. So these are broadcast standards. Again, this first one is called a linear sweep. Now, very similar to the linear sweep, we have the logarithmic sweep. See if you can tell the difference. This next piece was actually developed to test a very specific element in the transmission line called limiter. So this is the limiter test. Now, this next tone was specifically designed for testing AM transmitters, for medium wave transmitters. It consists of a tone that starts at around 100 hertz, runs all the way up to 5 kilohertz, and then bounces quickly back and forth between the two of them. Another commonly used element in DX tests is the single frequency tone. Now, which frequency is used can vary from test to test, but probably the most commonly used is the 1 kilohertz tone. If you've ever been sitting on 890 kilohertz on the East Coast and you heard that 1 kilohertz heterodyne from Algeria on 891, you know exactly the sound that you're looking for here. The difference here is that these are going to be on both the upper and lower sideband of the carrier frequency. These are going to run for about 30 seconds or so, and they're extremely easy to identify on that waterfall if you're running an SDR, because you'll see 2 solid lines right on 1 kilohertz off of that carrier frequency. So here is an example of what that sounds like, the 1 kilohertz tone. Probably one of the more unique sounds you might hear during a DX test is the off-hook telephone sound. Now, if you didn't grow up with a landline phone, this was actually something that was developed back a long time ago by Bell Laboratories, and it was something that they wanted to use to alert the user that the handset was not seated properly in the cradle, and therefore the line was still engaged and they wouldn't be able to receive any inbound phone calls. So a little alert sound was played over the line to notify the user of that. The tone consists of a superposition of frequencies 1400 hertz, 2060 hertz, 2450 hertz, and 2600 hertz, and they're played at 100 milliseconds on, 100 milliseconds off cadence. Testing with an audiologist also confirmed that these tones cut through static and crowded frequencies very well and are more easily noticed by DXers. Speaking of phones, one of the more recent additions to our DX test catalog is the use of a ringtone from an iPhone. If you've ever had an iPhone, you know some of the different ringers that are there. This one is easily recognizable, and it's another one that audiologists have confirmed do a really good job at kind of cutting through during some of the testing that was done. Now, tones and sweeps and Morse code and things like that aren't the only thing that you'll likely hear during a DX test. A lot of times you're also going to hear a voice ID. If you're close enough to the testing station, you should be able to pick these up. Some of these will be run through a human voice. Sometimes I've even heard them by someone directly at the transmitter site with a microphone plugged in to the gear that's there at the transmitter site, so they can do that. Other times it's a computerized voice. But again, if you're close enough, this is one of those things that can be a huge thrill if you actually hear the voice ID of that DX test. So here's an example of one of those voice IDs.
This is WZON in Bangor, Tennessee. We are conducting a special maintenance test. This is Whiskey Echo November Romeo. Whiskey Echo November Romeo. Whiskey Echo November Romeo. Whiskey Echo November Romeo. This is WZON in Bangor, Tennessee. We are conducting a special maintenance test.
A lot of DX tests will also run music during their test broadcast. Now, even though testing has confirmed that music doesn't cut through the best, it's still a lot of fun for the testing station to kind of play DJ for a bit there and kind of play whatever they want to play. So you'll often find some music you wouldn't normally hear on the radio, either because of its format or its length, not just for that station, but a lot of times for any station. You might hear some Dr. Demento or something like that kind of broadcast at 3 o'clock in the morning out of that DX test station. You'll also sometimes hear, especially if it's one that's been sponsored by the CPC, you'll hear a song called Hands Across the Sea. It's a kind of a brass band song, which actually is the signature song of the IRCA. Back in the 1960s, club members took a vote and said that would be the signature song of the IRCA was Hands Across the Sea. It narrowly beat out the song Monday, Monday classic 1960s hit. But even though the brass band stuff doesn't really cut through, it's one that if you're close enough to be able to receive the music from the DX test station, you'll instantly recognize it. And here's an example of what you might hear. Now, these are just some of the things that you might hear during a DX test, especially and probably specifically those that are sponsored by the CPC. If the station is conducting their own test, what you'll hear will probably greatly vary from this and may include very few or none of the elements we've discussed. So the important thing will be to read the DX test announcement. That will almost always tell you what to expect to hear unless the details are just not known. DX tests are a fun and unique way to add new log stations and maybe even a new state or two to your logbook. In my own experience, I've added stations like I mentioned, Montana. That was a new state for me when I've heard those stations out of Montana. I even added my very first station out of the U.S. Virgin Islands back in the 1990s. Was a DX test on 1000 kilohertz. So they can be a lot of fun. They're a big thrill when you hear one, even if it's one that's kind of a common thing. I remember hearing one out of Oklahoma. Oklahoma wasn't a hard state for me to hear, but this one Oklahoma station that I got back in the 90s, it was a huge thrill to hear that Morse code cutting through because it's like, I got them. So definitely give it a shot. Again, don't be discouraged just because the frequency that the test is on may be one where you have a local or a high-powered station or a dominant station on frequency or even a crowded frequency. Give it a shot. You never know what you're going to hear. These DX tests cut through a little bit better than you probably realize, so definitely give it a shot. Now, to know when these DX tests are coming up, you're definitely going to make sure. All right, so let's go ahead and come back here. Let me turn my cameras back on. There we go. And oh, the light. I need to turn the light back on so you guys can see me, huh? Oh, come on. It says it's connecting. Oh, they can't connect. Now it's connected. There we go. So now we're all up and running here, ready to roll for tonight's DX test. And let me give you guys a chance to see camera B here. This is camera 2, camera B. Hey guys, we got the whole shack decked out in green tonight for DX test. We go green here at DX Central, and we are ready to kick this pig, as they say. So let's go ahead and take a gander at 620 and see what we see, and see if anything is up there right now. What kind of stations we're going to be listening to and trying to compete with to see if that can cut through. All right, let's do a quick thank you to our sponsors. This DX Test broadcast special edition is brought to you by Couple, the International Radio Club of America, irconline.org. We've got the National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org, and ignore the FM part, the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com, all helping to bring tonight's broadcast of the WZON DX Test from Maine to fruition here. I'm sitting here looking at my my screen here on the Kiwi, the one on the left there. Some nice tones here at 520 hertz or so. Look at that. Yeah, some nice 520 hertz something right there coming through. Yep. Jacob probably would actually know what that is. He usually has a pretty good beat on all the different things that are coming in here on these signals. Probably like a something to do with some station running in stereo or something along those lines. We're also going to be taking a gander here at some Kiwis up here in the Northeast. Maybe Ashland, Massachusetts. We're going to try that one out. We were on that one earlier. And maybe a couple others up in here. We might hop around a little bit. But these are going to be some... These are some different Kiwis we'll be taking a gander at tonight to see if we can get the DX test there and do some comparisons to what we're hearing here. And also for you folks who are going to be or watching this and recording your own SDR stuff, and you want to be able to compare and have a timestamp up here in the corner, compare to your recording. That will be there for you. So let's go ahead and take a listen real quick. We're going to maximize the screen here for right now until we get a little bit closer on the DX test starting up in Maine. Again, this station is a 5 kilowatt day, nothing at night. I think nothing at night, or is it? I don't think it was anything. 620 watts at night. Okay. That's what it's showing, 620 watts at night. But they're going to be running 5K. It's supposed to be running 5K daytime pattern and power tonight is my understanding. So here in Mandeville, we have on 620 a couple of stations. We had a WJDX in Mississippi earlier, Jackson, Mississippi. We're going to be running a couple of recordings here tonight. We're going to be running our Perseus recording on our Jaguar software. That's going to be running tonight. The whole time that we're broadcasting. We're also going to have obviously this Kiwi here. We're going to be running an audio recording for that we can go back and an EQ and do what we need to do from that. And we'll probably also be doing some recording on whatever Northeast Kiwi we end up on. So there you go. We've also got some Spanish here. We've got Rebeldy usually pops in here at different points. KTNO in Texas pops in here on 620. We got XE and K in Mexico that pops in. So we got a couple of Latins that will show up from time to time. And then we have, like I said, WJDX is a talk station in Jackson, Mississippi. Every once in a while we get WRJZ in Knoxville. I haven't heard them in quite a while though. So WDAE in Tampa, St. Pete. That's another station. Let me actually show you guys here a map here that shows all the different screens, the stations we've heard here on 620. So WTMJ is there, WWNR, we've heard them here before, WRJZ, JDX, there's KTNO, we've heard WDAE, we've heard Radio Rebeldy, and we've heard XE and K. So those are all the stations. Now, WZON from here in Mandeville, it's a haul, all right? It is a haul. It's about 1,526 miles from my location here to Bangor, Maine at 43 degrees. And the antenna we're using tonight is going to be a KAZ antenna, rather. This KAZ antenna is a 15 by 60 KAZ, and it's right at 35 degrees. So it's about 8 degrees off of the center line of this station that we're trying to hear, WZON up in Bangor, Maine. So we're going to go back over here now. Let's take a gander. Turn off the... turn that guy off, and we'll also turn these two off for now. Got some Fox Sports in there. That could be WJDX. That could be WDAE. So there we go. Just taking a look at the chat here you guys have. Again, for the DX test, we won't be on camera here for most of this, and I won't be talking either once the DX test actually begins. Let's see. Yeah, right about 1,500 miles from here to WZON. 2,400, just under 2,500 kilometers. Hey, Mexico Mike P's in the chat. We got a full crowd in here tonight. Love seeing you guys in there, as always. KMNS, yeah, I've never heard them. They're in Sioux City. That would be a new one if they were showing up. Actually went out earlier this evening. Y'all gonna probably think I'm crazy. Well, some of you may not. Some of you may get it. But went out earlier and talked to the KAZ. Went out and I was letting the dog outside to do her business, and went out and just kind of pet the sky wire of the KAZ and said, "Okay, you're gonna get me main tonight, right? This is why we're here. This is why you were put up. Was for rare DX." So we gave it a little pep talk to the KAZ antenna tonight. So hopefully that'll help. All right, we're going to sit here for just a few moments and let this audio roll through while we listen on 620. And I'll be right back here in just a few moments as we get a little bit closer to go time.
Expecting it to work. Like, stop trying to make fetch a thing. It's not. It's just, you cannot make the watch it and think that it actually matters and that even the players even care about it. Like, it's just make a regular season game, or just go and play your regular season. There are other issues that we certainly can talk about. Brian came out and made the three-point argument. Everybody's making the three-point argument. What you do, but that's why you call me for budget all you want. I said erase the three-point line completely is almost the only rule change. Like some of the other things you've been able to fix, like guys being able to back things down for 15 seconds or hold the ball for minutes at a time by inventing the shot clock and all this other kind of stuff to fix these exports. This is a glitch in the matrix I'm not sure you can fix. Because you have a three-point line that you had moved in for a while to add more offense to the game. But now you've moved it back a bit. Guys, 35, 26%. But you still pull up. I don't know what the fix is there. But I think the problem that we have discussed for years about the NBA, and it irritates me because I love the NBA to be better. I think Thursday night in sports, the usual Thursday night football, but for most of the country it's on a regular channel. Finish what you're going to say first. I have a question. What does that go up against? The NBA with the regular TNT doubleheader Thursday. Then we also have the ESPN. The Thursday night TV ratings in sports were Broncos viewers. Women's volleyball on ESPN averaged 1.1 million viewers, and it beat the NBA. It beat both NBA games. The NBA averaged about 650,000 viewers nationally Thursday night, and that included a Nick Timberwolves game at 700,000. The Carl Anthony Towns return game. That's correct. One of the one games this season, meaningfully game right before it. J-Mark, I think Adam Silver just cut your mic because the stat Sager just gave us was that essentially, not quite, but essentially double the NBA couple on Thursday. That's putting aside everybody that was watching. Go a step beyond. If you go back to the Nebraska volleyball quarterfinal, that's a better number than anything the NBA got on Thursday night. In addition, Nebraska's semifinal was 1.2 million. Almost what the NBA got. I was going to pass this to get back to J-Mark. I didn't want your update, Steve. So I'm a college guy. I don't want to belabor one is better than the other. So here's my question for you, Sager. I've noticed ESPN
interesting theory from one of my colleagues. Before we get to it, though, just say, why don't you give us our step? I will ask colleagues the other college football.
to the NBA in the last decade than I do. Forget about this growth in Weston right now. Inside the NBA goes on every week and just trashes players, trashes the style of play. Any certain show, MLB Network, NFL Network, these shows, our network, we're all positive. Inside the NBA, they just hammer the players. So Charles Barkley's on TV. The Rockets are in the Final Four for that. The Rockets play basketball. I don't know what they're doing. They're damaging the product on a nightly basis, hammering it.
So that was Dyer Allen County sharing thoughts on what is plaguing the NBA. I have thoughts on J-Mac's thoughts, but what are your J-Mark? What are your thoughts on J-Mac?
I know what he's saying, and weirdly enough, and I didn't know about this audio. I suggested something to you this morning that I have found just on a random, one of those NBA YouTubers that spends a lot of time talking about the league, and I wanted to get just more crowdsourcing information, and they had the same take about media in general, but specifically about inside the NBA. And while I understand it, I'm also like, don't you want people to be honest? Like, do we have to shill for the league that we're employed by? Like, it's not, maybe they are overly negative, because they're critical guys. They always were. I mean, Barkley was an idiot who spoke and said what was on his mind. That's why we love him. Like, that's why Barkley has been who Barkley has been. He has free reign to do his thing, to say kind of whatever it is he wants to say, and he's going to be blatantly honest when he thinks something is not up to snuff. Shaq, who cannot take even like one iota of criticism about himself or about his career or anything else like that. He's real fun until you start talking about his game, and then things get a little bit salty real quick. Doesn't mean I don't like Shaq. It just means that's just something in him that I've noticed for a long time. Shaq crushes guys repeatedly. That tends to happen when you have all-time greats like Hall of Famers, like arguably the best at their positions to ever play, and things like that are watching a game that they don't recognize anymore. Like, I get his point. I know exactly what Jason McIntyre is saying. It's like, yeah, you want to be more positive. You want it to be about the good things that are happening in the league. It's not why those guys are fired. Double-edged sword. Inside the NBA, and I've said this before, I love the NBA, but if there are moments where I don't have time to watch the games during the week or something like that, I have had on get it every morning on all your favorite sports networks. And talk radio, you know, I feel like what has separated inside the NBA is, yes, they are compelling and interesting. They're educated for that. They know what they're talking about. Doesn't mean they're always right. Doesn't mean I always agree with them. But that doesn't matter. They're compelling and interesting. They create topics. And their discussions and debates among themselves is the other thing. Like, it doesn't feel artificial. Like, there's no world in which I see them sitting down and say, Charles Barkley, you're going to take this position, and then Kenny is going to say, no. Like, there is a very off-the-cuff, well, what are they going to say about this? That makes you want to be a very genuine, it's just different. And so I don't think I don't think you want to fight that. I don't think you want to go after that. I don't think that the problem with the league is that people are saying the league's bad. No, what you need to do is figure out why they're saying it's bad. I don't think that those two things work. I don't think you can beg the question like you assume that the thing you're going to do.
All right, so we are sitting here waiting for the WZON DX test to roll here in about 15 minutes. I'm over here looking for a Kiwi up in the northeast here that we can use, and I think I might have found one around the Connecticut-Massachusetts border that we might be able to use. It looks like it's pretty decent here. 37 dB signal-to-noise ratio on the high end there, so that looks pretty good. Actually, better than ours. So we'll go ahead and run split screen here. Let me go ahead and do this here, and then we'll pull this other one here. All right, so we'll run split screen here, and the one on the left is ours. The one on the right is our one from Massachusetts. We'll just call this Massachusetts Kiwi. Okay, so that's what we're going to use here. We'll start with that to see if we can run that as a comparison SDR to run against to see if we're getting anything there, or if they're actually doing anything at that time. That looks like that's going to be a good one here, so... All right. Other than that, you guys ready for this? 14 more minutes? Less than 14 minutes, and we'll be going live here with the WZON DX test. Let's see in the chat where you guys, I know most of you guys, but everybody drop your location in the chat so everybody knows where everybody's at. So when things start getting hot and heavy, we'll kind of have an idea, okay, if this person's saying they're hearing it, that means it's getting out to so-and-so and so-and-so. So just drop your location in the chat, let everybody know where you're at, and what you're running tonight. What kind of gear are you running tonight? We'd love to see what antennas and SDRs and everything else you guys are out there running tonight. You see ours here on screen. We're running we're running both. We're running the Perseus and the Kiwi tonight, and we're running with a 15 by 60 KAZ, so 15 foot long, 15 foot high, 60 foot long KAZ antenna, terminated delta loop antenna at 35 degrees, so within 8 degrees, give or take, from the center line up to WZON. Have a handmade 16-to-1 transformer on that bad boy, and we do have a vactrol here in the shack that I'm using to try to fine-tune the null on the backside. So you might hear some variations in our signal here a little bit as we go along. You might hear some of the signal kind of go up or down or whatever. That'll be me trying to tweak that vactrol and try to null out some of the stuff on the backside of that KAZ antenna, like Mexico and things like that. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you hear that, we're trying to kind of tweak that a little bit. So yeah, we'll be dialing that in with the vactrol that we have. And the vactrol just basically it's a terminating resistor that I can control remotely the amount of resistance on the backside that we use to try to get a null on the backside to eliminate stations in that direction that we don't want. So that's where we are. I want to also put a plug in for our good friend Mr. Justin. I'm actually going to pull his stream up here on the chat. Cover up here on the chat a little bit. Pull Justin here. Our friend Justin, UB Studios, is broadcasting live right now. And let me actually go over here and pull his live stream up full screen here so you guys can see. So he is on YouTube as well, broadcasting live this evening. So there's Justin's stream up in the corner. So hey, Justin, UB Studios. Hey, my friend, up in Minnesota, running his live stream. I got him over on the iPad over here, so we'll be interacting with him as we go along as well and comparing notes. And also our friend David Pede up in Old Town, Maine. I'll be communicating with him to see any intel he has on what's going on up in that direction as well. So we've got a whole team here tonight covering this very, very important DX test from the state of Maine. So we're about 10 and a half minutes away from the DX test beginning. We're going to go ahead and pull back again here and go off mic for just a few minutes, let the audio run through, and then we'll be joining back in here about 5 till or so and getting ready to see if we can hear Maine from down here in Mandeville, Louisiana, and wherever you are this evening as well. We'll be right back.
Studios, as we do every week around this time with Saucer News Desk. Sager, the floor is yours. Get us caught up on everything with this job.
We've got so much football to get to, but 2 quick notes first, because we had a heavyweight title fight today. The boxing champ in the heavyweight division is Alexander Usyk, still undefeated, won a unanimous decision over Tyson Fury in Saudi Arabia. And there was an NBA game at Orlando tonight where the Magic trailed Miami by 22 to start the 4th quarter and still won the game, 121-114, because the Heat in the first 10 minutes of the 4th quarter scored 3 points. Orlando somehow still winning some games. By the way, here are the exact numbers from the ratings from Thursday night we were talking about. The first game was Orlando against Oklahoma City. This was not a TNT. It was on TV as well. This is 2 channels combined with the TV ratings. Nationally, it got 562,000 viewers.
Understood. Got it.
More hands-on programs, supported community, and ongoing advocacy. We help post-9/11 veterans realize what's possible. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Doing a little tweaking on the vactrol here to see if we can get rid of some of the Latin stuff that's in here, which is so counterintuitive for me, guys. You know me. Usually I'm the one running to the Latins. I was just listening over on our friend Justin, UB Studios live stream, and he was listening on a Kiwi up in Prince Edward Island, and he was hearing Duran Duran music, which tells me that was probably WZON, right? On their 620 watt 9 time.
More people are listening to the radio and iHeart today than they did.
So this was the, I didn't hear it on this one. This is on the Connecticut-Massachusetts border. We're going to mute everything else here. So this is the Connecticut-Massachusetts border Kiwi. Now again, I don't have to have them super loud here right now. I just have to be able to hear when they go to their 5 kilowatt daytime. I need to be able to see and hear that Morse code and the sweeps. David confirms in the chat, Duran Duran is WZON. My guess is that I think this coast to coast that's in here, I think that's WVMT. Let me go back over here to mine. You can hear Justin in the background over here. All right, one more on camera here before we get started. So, recapping for all of our friends out there. So here at the top of the hour, here's what to expect. We're going to be listening for Morse code. We're going to be listening for tone sweeps. We're going to be listening for logarithmic sweeps. 1 kilohertz tones, looking for those 1 kilohertz on both sides. 1 kilohertz off of 620, so 621, 619, right down the seam right there. We're going to be listening for off-hook telephone. We're listening for maybe the iPhone sound. I don't know exactly what they're going to be using specifically, but those are the things that I know have been provided from the CPC tone bank, right? What was provided to them. So we'll be listening for all of those things and seeing what comes through. We're going to be listening on 2 SDRs here from our side. Those are our Perseus and our Kiwi, both on the same antenna, a KAZ antenna beamed up northeast at 35 degrees. We're also going to be watching and monitoring here on the, at least for right now, the Kiwi, the Connecticut-Massachusetts border. If we're not getting good success there, we might move around a little bit. But that's what we're looking for. So, one last time, my friends on camera, we're going to say good luck to you all tonight. I hope every single one of you hears Maine and gets it in your logbook. Hope we hear it, but I hope you guys hear it as well. Every single one of you get Maine tonight in your logbook. So David says they're going to start after the weather. We're going to go over here and go ahead and hush it and go on to our off-camera. Let's turn up the volume. Let's hit record. And we're just going to start a little early here, and let's go, my friends. It's time. WZON, Bangor, Maine, 620 kilohertz. Let's go.
them in August. Sit 8 games, but not actually play them for 4 months. And then come January, we'll just let those 12 teams decide. Like, at some point the season has to matter, but we have to reveal the box. One of those two things have to be true because they both can't. They cannot coincide. Those two things do not work together.
We expanded this playoff, we settle it on the two distance, then all this never lost to Notre Dame anyway. Alabama, they would have been competitive. They played a bunch of inferior teams, and so, at some point, wins and losses do have to matter. But the curse of social media is everything is urgent, everything is now, everyone can share their opinion all the time. And listen, there's a reason that old 365 this, and it's because you're sharing your thoughts in real time, and stuff is subject to change. So, I don't know anybody that was arguing 24 hours ago that Indiana didn't belong. To your point, I think your takeaway is that I think there's two takeaways. One, it's really hard to win on neutral fields, or on home fields, as opposed to neutral fields. But, listen, I don't want to pour water on something perfect here and whatever. But, listen, when you get 12 teams to postseason, there are going to be teams that are inherently flawed. Let me think of that. Not 12 teams. When you triple the number of teams in a postseason, there are teams that are inherently flawed. Whether it was the original great win, whether it was Indiana the original great win, whether it was, by the way, that came into this playoff with a great win, whether it was Alabama with a great win or some really bad losses, like they're going to be inherently flawed teams. And in theory, could Alabama have played better than them? Maybe in theory, yes, they could have. It doesn't mean that it was guaranteed. And like I said, no matter who you put in spot 9, 10, 11, whatever, you're going to have inherently flawed teams, and I think that's what we've seen over the course of the last 24 hours.
Listen, one thing that you just said, you talked about could Alabama have played them tougher? Yes, and probably would have, right? Even lacking evidence, because we've seen some duds from Alabama this year. Yes, they have more talent. Yeah, they have better players than Indiana does. But that's irrelevant. Like that's not the point. The point is that Alabama couldn't beat them at all. Don't get an opportunity. Live couldn't beat Kentucky and Florida, so they don't get an opportunity. South Carolina with a couple of close calls, but lost. about who earned the opportunity to play in the playoff in the first place. The truth is, the job of the college football playoff is not to go find the sexiest matchup or the biggest brands or the most entertaining matchup or they're 9-3, but we know who should be there. Because we know who they don't want to play. We know people are much rather play this team to play Alabama, so we got to put it out. No. At some point, the season has to matter, or you just admit that you have no sport. It doesn't. The committee's job to select, reward, and then rank the teams that through their bodies of work have done it each of them. It's not about how good you think you are, how good I think you are subjectively. Because they lost 3 games. At some point, there has to be a scenario where Alabama doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Like, can we all agree? This is coming from somebody in Nashville who is an SEC fan and who is married to a Tennessee fan. Like, I don't know what you're doing in this moment, but I'm like, Lane Kiffin is this. Like, I understand what you're doing because you're Lane Kiffin. I'm just... They only lost to Georgia twice, and the second one didn't count because of the conference championship. So they get the opportunity. It reflects that on SEC holders because it's just not a very valid argument. There, it's like you say you want to give X and Y a chance, but you really don't. Well, and you're using everything you can. City is afraid to put it in.
Yeah, not this was back and this sort of stuff, but you know, is people that play, I love college football so much, and you know, it's I care about this sport more than anybody. Also, that we've got the SEC, and you know, and like I think we could, like I do think the SEC is. I will say, I don't think by a country town like the third best team in the SEC is the third best team in the Big Ten, and got destroyed tonight. The best team in the Big Ten would have got destroyed if the game was in Tennessee. I don't know. Based on the fact that's the thing. This might go on. I think the SEC is really good. I think they're like because we're creating the playoff system this time, I wonder if that's part of it. Like, we did set up the playoffs where every winner gets a first-round bye now. Like, I wonder if people would say that's insane, and I just bring it up because I do wonder if that's part of it. I'm rambling, but yeah, playing against SEC fans, you got two teams in, one finish. You play really good football. I just don't think it's that much better than the SEC. We got to crazy
between Disney and BBC Studios, who distributes the Australian show. That's entertainment. I'm Jacqueline Carr.
The films, the stars, the milestones, the awards. Here's Big with the Week in Hollywood History.
December 17th, 1957. Jazz legend Nat King Cole's self-titled variety show airs its final episode. It was the first network TV show hosted by a black man, but despite its popularity, it was canceled because no national sponsors were willing to support it. December 19th, 1979. Family legal drama Kramer vs. Kramer opens. It ended up as the top-grossing film of the year, winning 5 Oscars with first-time wins for Best Actor Dustin Hoffman and Best Supporting Actress Meryl Streep. December 20th, 1946. The Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life premieres in New York City. Despite a weak box office performance, it became a staple of the holiday season during the mid-70s when it fell into the public domain. For a 1993 court case
All right, so let's go ahead and mute the Perseus here. So let me go on camera. Let me turn on my light, and we'll go back on camera. All right, so it looks like that was probably it. About a 7-minute window that was there at the beginning of the hour. Looks like they're playing their usual format, which is kind of the classic rock, oldies, retro radio type stuff. So we got one really good sweep that was in there, and that's about it. And some code. It looked like it was one really, really good sweep right around 4 minutes after the hour. So if you're doing a recording, go back and check a look at that and see if it might be there. I know some of you guys in the chat got to hear it, which was awesome. Let's see. Looks like Albany, Georgia got Blazer Bobcat got JDX and Jackson, which is awesome. So we're going to go back and listen to our recording here. In fact, let me do that live. Let me go back down over here, and we're going to go turn on the bottom screen. There we go. So let's go back to 6:04, and let's just the beginning of the test here, and let's see if we caught any of this DX test here. Let's see. All right, so we had some Mexico in here. We're going to zoom out a little. We'll mess up our contrast a little bit here. And I'll also probably go back on the audio file we recorded on the Kiwi. Let's just see if we had anything here at 04. Take care, Stephanie. I didn't hear anything in there. Let me go back from 6:03. We'll just do it one more time. We'll start it here at 06:02. And let's just let this run now. Yeah. I'm not hearing it. Not on the Perseus recording, at least they're in Jaguar, so I will probably go in and just to be certain, I'll go in with the audio recording that I did off the Kiwi and see if we can line that up. Maybe do a little EQ on it or something like that, just to try to kind of play around with it a little bit and slice and dice and see what we can do. But not on the first pass review. Check the beep at 436. Yeah, man. Let's go back. Yeah, I don't hear anything in there on that one. So yeah, we'll give it another shot on the audio recording from the Kiwi. Play a little EQ, see if we can slice and dice it up enough to pull something out. But for now, it looks like a no for Maine here for Mandeville. But we're not done with our bag of tricks. We'll go back in there and see what we can find, and I'll go back and review the waterfall display that we had here on the Kiwi just to see if there was any trace of that water. I remember seeing it first on the one over here from Massachusetts. I don't remember if I looked over there or not at mine to see if we saw it. I want to double check. So a little bit of review on the waterfall there, a little bit of review on the waterfall audio recording. We'll see what we can do. So there we are. All right. So for all of our sponsors, IRCA, the International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org, National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org, and the Spectrum Monitor magazine, thespectrummonitor.com. We want to say thank you all for joining in tonight for this special presentation of DX Central Live for the WZON 620 Bangor, Maine DX test. We'll catch you guys this coming Friday night at 0045 UTC. That's 1845 Central Time here for DX Central Live. Take care, my friends.
Central Live engage. AM, FM static fight. Chasing signals all through night. Waves that travel far and wide. Feel the magic deep inside. DX Central Live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. Frequencies that cross the sea. Mysteries for you and me. Lloyd's voice cuts through the noise. Feel the thrill, enjoy the joys. Ghostly whispers in the dark. Find a station, hit the mark. Fading in and fading out. Lloyd helps clear the doubts. Stories from the distant land. Caught by waves that we command. From our homes we hear the call. DX Central Live for all. DX Central Live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. DX Central Live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. DX Central Live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves. All the signals we will crave. DX Central Live tonight. Turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves.
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.